What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's blow this channel up, man, because you know we bring the hottest content on YouTube in this genre. And wash your ass. Go to fresh.series.com and pick up a bar of that soap. I got a special guest with me here today, an ex-LAPD officer, Randy, and man, we're about to get some insight on some serious shit, man. Randy, you know, it's all over the news, the Tyre Nichols death, and the officers who were involved in that. It was as though they were using the badge to cover their personal agenda. And, you know, I don't know how often that happens when you have people like that who really aren't doing their job, but they're going into a whole nother area when it comes to utilizing that type of force. But what was your perspective when you seen that, man? How did you perceive that whole, you know, when they pulled the man over and, you know, having worked in LAPD and dealt with a bunch of situations like that, what is your whole take on that?
Well, it took about 2 or 3 days for me to watch it because when the initial title came out, it said 5 police officers beat man to death. So I was like, I beat black man to death. And I was like, I can't watch this. So a few days later, I watch it, and it's just, other than maybe like a Hollywood beatdown showing, trying to establish, oh, these are 5 racist cops beating up a black man, I've never seen anything like that. Like, it was to the point where I was like, this is unbelievable what they're doing to this guy. Like, they stood him up. One guy hit him in the face. When I'm watching it, I seen at one point he put his hand behind his back. I was like, cuff him. It's code 4. Just get this guy in cuffs and be done with it. And they just kept hitting him, pepper spraying him, punching him in the face, all kind of stuff. And then when they showed his background, like he was a skater, he worked at FedEx, just a regular dude, it hit home in such a way as, even just on the human level, like you're beating a dude to death. You know what I'm saying? Take out the whole color aspect of it, take out the police aspect of it. You're beating a human being to death. And I don't want to use words like savage or thug or whatever, but this is a level of corruption that goes beyond, how do I say this? It's not even a police thing. It's not a training thing. It's, you're taking advantage of the entire system. And at one point, this is gonna sound messed up. I was like, had these been 5 white cops, we would have burnt we would have just burnt everything down. We would have destroyed everything. But to answer your question, it just hurt, man. Like, hurt my soul seeing it.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I couldn't watch it when I first heard about it. I was like, I couldn't bear to think that, you know, you're fearing for your life and you have these 5 individuals and you don't know what you did wrong, and you know, you're trying to protect your face, and then you're scared. It's like, you know, the fight or flight thing. What do you do? I mean, it's like you're either going to get shot, you know, or you're in the process of getting killed because you're already getting beat for no reason. You don't know what you did. And it's just a scary situation, man. And, you know, going back and them actually looking at, you know, in detail what these guys were involved in, it seemed like these particular individuals in that department had been doing this to other people, like similar situations.
What's funny is when I saw that, I said to myself, they've done this before. I didn't know any of the history, and I said, these guys have done this before. Because you got body camera, you got in-dash vehicle cams, and you're beating this dude on the street like this? I'm like, nah, these guys have been doing this. They just haven't been getting caught. It's kind of like George Floyd. Old boy had, I think, 21 or 29 complaints. And one of the things we say in the police department is, if I caught you once, you got away with it 10 times. So if old boy had 21 complaints, or 29, I can't remember, that's times 10. So he had 290 incidents where he's been beating people up and doing all this craziness. So the same thing with these gentlemen. They've been running around beating people up, doing the thing.
Now, when something like that happens, because, you know, you would think like somebody be like, hey, man, you know, because you're guilty just because you didn't stop it. Why wouldn't, I mean, something's going down like that, and I know, like, you know, you have the blue line, or everybody's in this thing, but wouldn't somebody be like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, what does this guy do to deserve that?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. One of the big things somebody came up with, well, a few people, where was a supervisor? Where was a senior guy? You got all of these young dudes, and I'm not giving them any excuses. I'm giving reasons, not excuses. You got a bunch of guys within a culture that thinks I got the badge, I can do whatever I want. And this is I'm not indicting or endorsing policing. I'm just saying these guys were doing some wrong stuff and nobody was checking them on them doing this wrong stuff. And as far as like, when somebody come up and say, what are you guys doing? This is a difficulty with policing. I have to be able to go into a home and depend on you coming to save me, depend on your partner coming to save me. Now, when you're like, yo, Randy's a snitch, Randy's a rat, Randy's not with it, it changes the dynamics of my policing. Like, I'm not going to have the confidence to go do my job knowing you're not going to back me. And I'm not saying cops like bad cops. They don't, trust me. Again, Derek Chauvin made policing hard for every single cop in America. There's not a cop who's like, oh, that's my guy. The whole dirty cop, blue line thing, how do I put this? It makes it harder for policing. When you have a dirty cop, it makes it harder for the other 98% of cops that are good people.
So out of the 5 cops there, you think like even one of them thought that this was wrong, but they just didn't say anything because they're trying to keep that honor among themselves? Or did one of them even, do you think there was any discussion? Because it's like, dude, this brother out of nowhere. It's like, I mean, it's like beating somebody like that, you said, even another human being, to see that is like, I wouldn't want to get beat like that. So it's like, kind of like, oh, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Literally, you're going to kill this man.
Right. Something that would solve that is you got to get trained. You got to get into jiu-jitsu, grappling, wrestling, because it kind of shows you, listen, I don't like the way this guy's hurting me, so I don't want to hurt somebody else like that. Like, police have to get OC sprayed when we're in the academy. We have to get tased so we can see what it feels like. Getting jumped is not part of our training, or beating somebody to death. Like, they went off the rails with this thing. I'm like.
So you think it's obvious that what they did wasn't part of the curriculum, but you think that these individuals, this was maybe something that kind of like slipped through the system as far as not seeing a certain psychological disposition for these individuals, because they all paired up together. It's almost like a group of guys in training day, that they all have the same mentality, like, hey, we all roll together, this is how we get down, and maybe they had some other separate shit going on in addition to whatever they were doing in the police force.
Again, I still go back to, we've been doing this. They most likely beat another brother the same way they beat this dude, but
just didn't come to light.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah. He didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because the code of the streets. It's,
yeah.
Dude, I run, I get beat, or whatever. And I'm not saying that's going on now, but when I came on 2005, and I ended my career in 2015, so about 10 years. But when I first came on, you would catch a beat down. So, like, there was one time I had to grab a brother. He was getting pummeled. I grabbed him. I said, I got him. I'm going to take him to the car. And I was a brand new cop.
Damn.
And they were beating the shit out of him. And the thing was, sorry for cursing, but
yeah.
They were beating the crap out of him. I grab him. I'm taking him to the car. I'm like, I got him. And it was about 10 of them. And they was giving it to him. And I'm like, dude, what are y'all doing? Like, I had seen all the Rodney King stuff before.
Yeah.
So this is about 2005. They're just whooping them. We're in the middle of the projects. I'm like, y'all aren't afraid of like somebody videotaping y'all? And that wasn't what it was for me. It was, dude, that's a human being getting beat up. I don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever, but you're beating up a person. So took him to the car and it was cool.
Now, how did that, but once you get the person back down to the station, how that justify this guy got all these knots on him? I mean, unless he was, how do you justify like one dude getting, looking like this when you bring him into custody?
Watch Commando will ask you, are you sick, ill, or injured? Where'd you get those knots from or whatever? And back then there was a code. There was a sense of honor where, no, I fell. Like, I seen a dude get punched. He's like, Watch Commando's like, where'd you get that bruise? He's like, oh, I fell. I know where he got it. I'm not trying to dry snitch, but you know,
yeah.
we know how you got it. And he's like, nah, I fell.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that, I know there's good and bad in every facet, because I've been in a situation when I was 15 and got arrested for crack, and some cops took us. They weren't even cops; they were like undercover. I want to say like maybe task force or something, which is like a drug unit in Sacramento. And they took us behind a grocery store, and it was hella dark. I'm like, oh shit! And it was me and another cat, and he was 18, I was 15, and there was another canine unit back there, and they just posted up, and they said, asked us our names, and the guy's name, he had this name, I want to say, it's like a long name. It didn't sound like a black name, and when he said the name, they slapped the shit out of him, pop, and he looked at me, and the homie's like, man, you see that shit? He said, did you see that shit? And I just sat there like this. I'm like, fuck, man, these dudes he might slap the shit out of me. And he had the canine. He said, we'll put you back there with the canines. You got a problem? And I just sat there. I said, oh, man, this shit's crazy, man. And I was just hella quiet. And then he took the guy I was with, took him out the car, put him in the other car, because he's taking him to the Sac County, and he took me to juvenile hall. And on the whole ride there, he didn't say nothing. And he dropped. I'm like, this shit is crazy, man. Literally, anything could have happened to us behind the grocery store. It was pitch black. It was no lights, no nothing. And, I've been in situations, crazy situations. I don't speak on a lot of it, but I tell people, man, God willing, I was able to get out of that situation, but I've seen stuff go down, and I didn't say nothing to nobody. I just, hey, man, I didn't get there and say, hey, man, they slapped my homeboy. I just was like, they booked me into custody, and I was like, it's like, it is what it is, it's like part of the game, but it's just a scary situation, man. And I know, especially for somebody who's not, for anybody, you're not a street dude, and for somebody to get pulled over and find themselves in something like that. I mean, I don't even know how you could say how to protect yourself, man, because it's like you curl up. I mean, what do? You put your arm behind your back, you're still getting kicked. I don't know what the answer to that is, man. How we could have helped Tyre Nichols to where he could still be alive today.
I got to be honest. There's nothing I could say. Like I tell people all the time, you get pulled over, comply. There's a situation where nothing I could say would help that situation. Like these dudes, first off, everybody's armed. Huge problem.
Yeah.
Second off, you're under the authority. They're under the color of authority. Like they've got him, for better or worse. I don't even want to say legally detained, because this is personal. Like this is some get back. Yeah. So, like this is like a different kind of evil. You ever watch like The Boys or that dude Homelander? Like he's supposed to be Superman, but he's out here doing all kind of evil stuff.
Yeah.
It's that kind of. It's almost like horror. Like seeing a cop do stuff like that is.
But what about this? Like, okay, like you said, if this would have been some white cops, where are all the black celebrities at? Where are all the athletes, all the people taking the knee, all this stuff? You got all these people when it was, it was a white and black guy. But this situation, nobody even really came out and said, hey, man, there's nobody I've seen doing no press conferences, no hip hop artists, nobody. It's like, and it's crazy because it trips me out like, dude, you guys, like you said, would be rioting, you guys burnt down Minnesota, but these are 5 brothers right here, and that's the problem. We ain't cleaning up our own shit. These are brothers, man. We are predatory on each other for anything else, because anytime you see somebody do the symbol of a gun or they talk about banging, they're banging on another brother. That's not, you're not banging on somebody who's economically oppressing you. You're banging on a dude who looks like you, who's in the same position as you. That's what's so horrible. Nobody's saying, this dude, where's all the people, man, talking about, look, this is a call for us to really get some type of reconciliation with ourselves as a culture to figure out what is the problem, man.
Well, what you just asked me is multifaceted. Like, we have to start taking self-accountability. The issue is when brothers start talking amongst ourselves, other people want to get involved. And I'm not making an excuse. I'm not saying, oh, it's their fault. we got to take accountability. Like this was a brother thing. This was, and when I say brother thing, I mean this was a black thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 5 black cops and 1 black victim. Like he's a victim. He wasn't a suspect. He was a victim. He got victimized. We got to take out even the police part of it. What would make you hit somebody who looks just like you the way they were hitting them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna end up killing. It's 5 of you guys hitting them.
Yeah.
So again, where's the black celebrities? Where's Oprah? Where's our black politicians? Where's our black celebrities? Where's
because like you said, you're right. You take the police aspect of it. 5 black men, 1 black man.
Right.
Baby over baby mama. If it is a baby mama, whatever, I don't know in detail exactly, but whatever it is it worth killing this? You're gonna kill this dude?
Right.
I mean, that's how you're that angry or you're that emotional that it's worth killing. It doesn't make sense to me, man. I look at it now, and even when I was in the streets and I mean, is it worth killing somebody over, oh, he slept with your girl, or, oh, man, he called you a name? I mean, damn, dude, you got to end this dude's life?
Right. Well, how do I say this and keep it simple? There's a balance to life, right? Like, you got masculine energy, feminine energy, left, right, whatever. I think we as black people have tapped in too much where there's an imbalance, where we tap into the narrative. And the narrative is not the truth. The agenda is not the truth. Over emotionalism is not the truth, if that's even a word. Just being over emotional. So the narrative is, if you hurt me, oh, that's sad. It is what it is. If a white person hurts me, oh, we gotta. No, I'm still hurt. So we're looking at the wrong thing. Oh, you know, Big Herc, he's the victim here. The system failed him. And that's some goofy, far to the other side type stuff where we got to stop looking at their narrative and we got to start looking at our reality. And our reality is, yo, let's take care of the victim. Who cares about what skin color these dudes were? I do care that they were cops. And when I say I don't care what skin color they were, I mean as an excuse. Don't excuse that he got victimized because it was people who look like him.
That's right.
Because white people don't do that. White people will call each other white trash. They'll call each other trailer trash. Liberals ain't feeling conservatives. Conservatives not feeling liberals. And with us, it's like, if I'm a doctor or I'm homeless, we think we're all the same. Because I guess one cool thing with us is we really do unite. But we're also fractured and we're separated to the point where you can beat this guy to death like this? Like what's going on with you? What's in your mind where you don't realize
the separation right there?
The separation, like you asked about earlier, the separation part. So,
hey man, there you have it. Big Herc 916, fresh out, getting down with Randy. Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at freshoutseries.com.